So man never catches up with knowledge. Man has never been able to experience that kind of apperception which cuts through time and makes it possible for man to become immediately aware of the total values of existence. There has to be some way in which man can break through to reality. There has to be some way in which the individual can come into possession of that which he consciously and subconsciously or unconsciously knows. The mystic has tried to solve this. He solved it on the basis that he exists in a universe of eternal now, in which everything that has been, is, or will be is a state of suspended immediacy, and that by the proper extension or expansion of his own consciousness, he can attune himself to immediacy and to the experience that it contains. This is what has been thought probably as the mysterious school of the Holy Spirit. And in this school, it is said that every living thing is an ABCdarian or taking his ABC lessons. We are all ABC students in the College of the Holy Spirit. This sort of implies, as Lord Bacon does, that this whole universe is a very wonderful school, that this is the great university, that life itself, nature and the heavens, the earth, the seas, everything that exists is part of one tremendous educational pattern. Man needs to become capable of adjusting his own consciousness to this pattern without falling into the neck of minutia, which causes him to be so fatally fascinated with some small detail that he loses sense of the entire magnitude of the project. This is why Lord Bacon's emphasis is upon causes of the sacred motions of things, because our true knowledge is not to be gained in these endless questing of minutiae, but in our sudden awareness of the essential purpose of the whole thing. It is certainly obvious that man, even had he the memory of a prodigious giant, had he the memory of God, would be taxed by the innumerable things that exist to be remembered. And in this generation, the amount of knowledge to be remembered is being doubled every 3 or 5 years. Even as the scriptures have said, in the last days men shall journey to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. No faculty of man can contain all of these information, but this information is not essential knowledge, because this information does not solve or complete the nature of man. The essential knowledge is that man shall become a completely enlightened creature, that man himself shall become self-sustaining in space, that he shall have conscious association with larger universe around him, shall recognize his citizenship in space, and shall no longer be a lonely traveler shipwrecked on a desert island, that he should no longer be this lost wanderer hunting for a utopia. For the world is in itself his college, his school. But in order to understand this and make it a vital fact, man must learn how to study. He must learn what to study. He must recognize the difference between eternal truth and those facts which are interesting but not solutional. We have gone off again on the deep end of non-solutional facts. We can have all these facts and die miserably. We can continue to build these facts, pyramiding them upon one another, and still have another war with the most devastating consequences. These facts belong to certain luxuries of our thinking. They are perhaps ornamentation of our specialization, or even they may be avocations of our leisure hours. Or the discovery of getting to the moon is nothing more or less than an avocation of leisure hours. But if we get all the important things done, we can enjoy this if we wish to. If we ever get everything that was important done, we probably no longer wish to do this. The development of great armament, the expansion of great skills, these things are of the leisure of man, for they still do not prevent or remedy any of the principal emergencies of life. The great solution lies in the need of the direct thing, and the only answer to this need is that all attention should be devoted to the exploration of man's internal resources, so that from a full knowledge of man's own inner structure, we shall be able to build within him a foundation upon which his character can stand and upon which all other labors can be accomplished. And the implication in the new Atlantis is that we will find in man, under the spiritual domination of consciousness itself, this great assembly of the learned, that the master of Solomon's house is consciousness itself. If we are able to find this core, we shall then come to essential knowledge. And having achieved this, and having protected our destinies and the destinies of our kind from any emergencies of catastrophe, we may then have our amusements. We may have our idols, be they of the marketplace or the cave. We can explore any subjects we wish because we have already established ourselves on firm foundation. But if we attempt these diversified labors and neglect these foundations, we shall not only suffer from lack of foundation, but we will be unable to perfect these labors because these labors are all dependent from a center of life, consciousness, and until these consciousness is free to operate, no essential question we can ask can ever receive its complete answer. All answers come from within, from the same place that the questions come from. And until we answer the question inside, we will never be able to cure the ills of society on the outside. So, when in emergency, when great trouble comes, and when we ask divine guidance, we are actually asking the help of this mysterious college within ourselves, the college of the 6 days' work. And if we seek sincerely and earnestly after these labor, we shall certainly, in the quietude of our acceptances, receive that quality of knowledge which cannot be communicated from without, or which must arise in the sanctuary of our own heart and souls, where only a sufficient understanding and insight are available to us. So each one is encouraged to consider the importance of these great universities, the university of the total past of the individual, available to him to the extension of consciousness inward rather than outward. This is the largest story beneath and behind practically all of the great utopian works. Well, that's it. Thank you very much.